Okay. Good evening, class. So let's start. Wow, this guys, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Sorry, please. Let me quickly do a quick stop sharing. I was having an issue with my this thing before, so I was actually developing the class on another. Or developing it on another. Sorry, else. So let's go back to the screen to share. Okay, so here we are. Let's start with. I've been trying to, I don't know, I gave some assignment to people. So this is the master, and we're planning to present it tomorrow. I've not even had a chance to go there to check, but I hope some of us did something. Okay, how many of you went to the class to check the assignment I gave people, the discussion forum and the chat? How many of you worked on it? Does anybody work on it? On them rather. How many of you work on your class page to do the assignment I gave them? You guys have started again.
Good evening,
again, I'll be asking questions. You guys will not talk. Okay, Daniel. Okay, okay. So
okay. Good evening, ma.
Did you work on it?
Yes, I actually saw it and I did a sketch on it.
Good evening.
But today I tried to post my response and the page is locked.
It's locked?
Yes, I even contacted one of my classmates to ask her if she saw it. She said she didn't even see it. I said, okay, when we come to class today, that I will ask you. I didn't see a deadline and I was surprised the page is locked.
No, it should be locked. I think it's just some minutes or so before this class. That's when it's supposed to be locked. So when did you attempt it? When did you attempt it?
Yeah, it was this morning. It was this morning I tried to open it and it's locked.
Okay, I said I'm going to check again because I think the PC was supposed to be just before this class. That's when it's supposed to lock. Okay, it's okay. Let's move on. I just see that even though I say I want to give to centers,
excuse me, ma. I tried as well, but it's still locked. I tried as well. It's still locked, ma.
Okay, so I'll find out what the issue is. I'll find out. Maybe I didn't save the timing. I don't know, but I think I did. So, but I'll find out what the issue is. Okay, so let's talk about phonology. Okay. Okay, so you see, I have something to say, Ogechi. Do you see I have something to say? Okay, so last week we looked at module 1 of the ENG841, and this week we are going to module 2. And essentially, we are going to be looking at generative phonology in the module 2. And then we'll look at some concepts of phonology and then look at generative phonology and how it works and phonological rules. So we will do more detailed discussion on the rules next week, but we will just get introduced to it this week. So let's get to it now. Now, these are the end of this lesson. What are the things we expect that we should be able to do We expect that we should be able to discuss these concepts at the basic level. Then to identify its core elements, that phonological concepts. Then describe this mode of presentation and rules. Then we look at the rules that are governing it, and then look at the basic concept of phonology, like the distintive features. The distintive feature itself is a very wide area. So let's see how we get to that. And so those of you that have seen the book I told you about, I don't know if you have, I think there's an extensive discussion on distinctive features. Then when we also look at the sound patterns of English by Chomsky and Haley, you also see that there is a very extensive discussion on distinctive features. So you can go check them out. So we look at basic concepts of generative phonology, distinctive features, redundancy, boundaries, phonemic level representation, phonemic and phonetic level representation. So we look at each of these things. I say mine is to guide you, and then when any point that you think you have issue, you can discuss. And I'll also be emphasizing the fact that you need to go out of your comfort zone and use the e-library that have been made available to you. The reason I also be saying that is that you are supposed to research students. So after now, you should be able to do your PhD without needing too much prompting. So this is why this is a basic thing that I think that we need to take note of. So let's start first. What is phonology? Let's ask ourselves that question. Let's discuss that. I've put here some points, and I want us to also make contribution. I say that the study of sound system of a language. We study the behavior. We call it behavioral patterns of sounds in specific language systems. They define the rules that govern sounds interactions in a language. These are my own way I try to present what you mean by. I try to just encapsulate it. So I would like you guys to also give me your own. What happened to the person? So if anybody will want to, let's look at what is phonology. What do we understand by phonology? From what we have read, what are we gathered about phonology? So I want us to talk. I want our contributions, please. Please don't mind the noise. I don't know what's the meaning of, I've never had this kind of noise in this area. I don't know what's the problem in this estate, and I don't want to wait till tomorrow to know if this continues, then I will have to report it to the estate. I don't know the meaning of this noise. So, who is making contribution? Who is making comments here? Okay, Ogechi. Ogechi, go ahead. Tell us what you understand by phonology.
Okay, I can say that phonology is the scientific study of sound patterns in a particular language. And it has to do with the identification of phonemes and how phonemes are combined, the position in which they are combined in order for articulation to take place. And also phonology phonology is the grammar of phonetics, in the sense that phonology has rules that govern the production of words.
And phonetics do not. Okay, that's a good thing. At least you are talking. I know you are talking. Yeah, I don't know why we actually discussed the interaction, the relationship between phonology and phonetics last week. I don't know if we did. I can't remember if we did. We are supposed to, but I don't know if we did. But anyway, that's no excuse for you not to read up. Okay, so any other person that wants to say something?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, ma'am.
I will say that phonology is the study of combination of sounds.
Okay.
Yes, ma. That
Just
is
combination.
how the organization and the function of speech sounds.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
Okay. Do you have any other contribution?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Like what my colleagues have earlier said, that phonology is the scientific study of sound system of a language. Phonology also study
One that said it now, is that in your
sounds
phone?
how sounds are combined, how sounds are being combined in the sense that if, they give us rules on how sounds are being combined. For example, there are some sounds that when they are being written is quite different from what is obtained when they are being spoken. So phonology helps us to clear that confusion to some extent. So they help us with rules in terms of combining speech sounds in a language.
Okay. So essentially, when we talk about phonology, now how is it different from phonetics? Is that phonetics are the raw, what you call phones, they are the raw sounds that are produced. But phonology help us to know the way they behave in particular environment. So this studies why phonetics talks about, okay, how the sound is produced or is perceived or it's heard and all of that. Like, because I was talking about that phonetics is about the articulation of sounds. It's the one that is telling us the process and the procedures where a particular element of sound comes into manifestation. But now in phonology, you actually look at the sound now. How does it make meaning? How do you get meaning out of it? You are just, But someone that doesn't understand my language, you don't know what I mean. But you that seems to share language with me, you may not know that, oh, maybe I am trying to give birth to a baby, or it makes meaning to you. So, and that's what phonology helps us to know. The meaning that it creates, the meaning that we can, and these are governed by environment, by rules, by dispositions, by there are things that determine these things, and that's what phonology exposes us to. So it is actually scientific. Like some people will say, oh, it is BA, but really, language is to study language is a scientific thing. There is a procedure, there is a process. So anything that has process and procedure is scientific. So let us just know that. So that is why you don't know that phonology is not why phonology study the process of producing sounds. Now phonology study how they behave in particular environments for them to make meaning. So because if you make sounds and they don't make meaning, then you are not communicating. So this job basically, I think, what I need us to do. Now let's look at the different features that help us to determine meanings in phonology. Now the first one is segmental phonemes. Now when we look at we actually talked about that when we talk about concept of phonemes and the concept of allophones. Now we said that phonemes are now when you say segmental, that means they stand alone. Things that are individualistic, that can be separated into units. So that's what you mean by segmental. So when you talk about in relation to phonemes, that means phonemes that can stand, that can be individually perceived, that can be individually determined. So that's what you mean like by that. Now when we talk about it, that these are a class of sounds that are the smallest meaningful units. And that is why they have implication in positions where they are. So we say that it's time for the meaning of an element or words in which they occur. Look at the play. I don't know what I wrote here. The play No, this one must have been, I must have written something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But what I'm just trying to say is that in the environment that they occur, the environment of the occurrence can determine their meaning just because they are in a position. Okay, I gave an example of take and took. Now, what makes the difference between this particular word is that in the middle position, you have a different phoneme. And of course, you know that's contrastive distribution. Just because you change the phoneme in the middle, it can change the meaning of that word. Now, basically, you will say, okay, but it's still about taking. But then the taking at what time? So the factor of tense, the factor of time has come into it. So when somebody said, I took my breakfast yesterday, I took my breakfast, then I will know that I took it sometime before this time. If I say I will take it, it's a different matter. So anyway, that is grammar. But essentially, when you look at, I think we were talking about the grammar of phonetics. So when you look at this now, the meaning that is made is just by the changing of a phonemic element in that word, and it has changed the meaning. And this word alone can affect the whole sentence, the meaning or the conceptual information that is in that sentence. It can be changed just because of this particular element that is changed. So that's why you see how important that in phonology, that if segmental phonemes, you cannot look that, oh, they're just small, tiny entities, they're infinitesimal. No, you cannot say that because they can actually affect the meaning of what you are trying to communicate. So this is what I want us to take note of as we go along. I'm trying to look at time. So as we go along, so let's look at the next one. Now, supersegmental features. Now, this has to do with something that's above and beyond the segmental. We talk about the segmental as that tiny phone. Now, when that tiny phone has been determined as a living entity that can stand alone, then becomes a phoneme. Now, when it has not taken on the nature of being a phoneme, then you now look at, okay, even this phoneme has something that's above it. Now, above it, you have what you call suprasegmental features. We are familiar with some, but I've listed them here. Now, the other name you call them is prosodic features or prosodic features. So this, I don't even know the tautology that I was making here anyway. So these prosodic features are also what we call suprasegmental. Of course, you have suggestion that you call autosegmental. That means that they are independent. So because of that, they can just occur there. Anyway, but for now, let's just stick with these basic ones. Now, examples of this are what? Stress, intonation. Stress is above. It's above it's not attached to a particular what do you call it now? It's not attached to a particular phoneme, but it occurs within syllables. So you see that it is above the phoneme. The intonation even actually occurs on sentences, or what you call beyond the word. Let me say a phrasal level. Then you have rhythm. Then you now have length, quality, tempo, pitch, and crescendo. All these things now, they are above the phonemic, I mean the segmental level, and that's why they are called suprasegmental features. And these also have meaning. You see, this is why we say that when you see this, when you talk about stress can change a word from a noun to a verb. I think we talked about that last week. Then you can see stress that can give topicality to a section of what you are saying. It can help you to determine topicality within the structure. When you talk about intonation, for me, that is even very interesting. I think I've been trying to do a study on that. Intonation is so meaningful. It is at the discourse level. It's at the discourse level that you have intonation. So the rise, I think I gave an example last week. We have the same the same structure given. But what changed is just that when one is on the rising tune, it changes that sentence to a question. Then when it is on falling tune, it makes it a statement. And then when you also have a WH element, when you have it ending on a falling tune, you know that it is a question. But when it is on a rising tune, you know it's an exclamation. So these are things that you see that you can also determine in life. Then when you talk about rhythm, now rhythm of course has to do with stress on stress, stress on stress, stress on stress, and this can help you to communicate. Of course, what we have mostly within our own environment is that you actually have syllabic. We have to know languages. So many of us don't speak English like that. Except a few of us that probably maybe like as English students, we are learned to have control and know how to go beyond just the stressing every syllable the way we are brought up to speak. Also, we now have learned to use it. Of course, some people will not be saying, "Oh, this person is trying to speak Fune." It is not. It is not Fune. It's a person is trying to master and speak the English the way the English people will speak it. So these are things. So like I talked about the length and the quality. Of course, you can have this in the 40s and learnings, and that we can have Jesus. Okay, which can have implication for what they are doing. We are still in Nigeria. We have not done. Okay. So all these things, like then when we talk about also pitch in your production, the pitch of voice can also have meaning. I know, like I don't know whether it was there I gave the example. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Let's see, I want to disturb my business. Please let me just hold on. Let me go and sort out this thing that's making this nice. Sorry about that. Let's say Nigeria. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, so it's stress. So I was giving you the example of this segmental features, so you can read more about them, about the pitch, about the quality, about your pitch of voice, the crescendo. What does it mean? Because you may have that a lot in drama. Now you talk about denouement. So these are the things that make meaning, and then we need to know what is it that actually affects meaning making. And then when we are doing the study of phonological processes in a language, all those things are things that we need to be able to apply or assign meanings to. So these are segmental features. Then let's talk about mode and rules. Now, the mode of proposition has to do with how you analyze the phonological elements. Then the convention now is normally that you put slash brackets. I don't know why I didn't put slash brackets here. I just said slash brackets, but I want to assume, let me see, maybe I should just shrunk. Wow. Okay, so slash brackets, when you talk about slash brackets, this is what we mean. I guess you are seeing my screen, right? You are seeing my screen, right?
We are seeing
Yes.
it, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So this is what you mean by that. Now that's the convention. Now, when you are doing transcription, you tend to do that. But at times, some people will say, okay, a phoneme that has not been determined whether as a phoneme, it should be in square brackets. So scholars have different, then you have different position about that. Now, when it's already assessed as a phoneme, then you put in slash bracket, then you do your transcription in slash bracket. But when you're still unsure of what it is, then you say, okay, you're in square bracket. Now, I would like you to know what do you say about that if you have looked at that before and raised questions in your mind about that. May I have your thoughts as we go on where you're thinking about it? You have not thought about it before. About the difference between slash brackets and the square brackets. Does anybody want to give us their thoughts on that? You are not thinking about it, right? Okay, there's no
Yes,
crime for
ma'am.
not thinking about it. Let me go on.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, Chi.
Okay, the slash brackets are used to represent phonemic sounds, while the square brackets are used to enclose the allophones of a phoneme.
Allophones.
Yeah.
Why do you think allophones cannot occur in because when you have this phonemic representation, you see that is the most basic and the most detailed representation of the or phonological bodies. So why would you now why is it the allophone that we presented or when it is being realized as allophonic variation?
I read it up in this handout too. What
Okay.
I said, yes, I read it up from the handout when where the phonemic representations are enclosed in the slash enclosure, while trying to present the allophones, they are put in the square brackets in the words where they appear.
Anyway, essentially, the allophonic variations are details. There are more details on your transcriptions.
Yes.
It's giving more details, telling you that even this particular sound is not just as ordinary as you look at it. I think there's a place that I think we are going to discuss that. So, but when you talk about actually that because that's the controversy you have had. The general view is that okay, when you use the square bracket, it means that this particular sound has not been assigned, has not been given its identity. So that's generally the view that some scholars have about it. But I don't know, maybe some will say it should be this slash that should do that, while the square should do the representation that is basic. So these are the confusion, but I will check where you say you read it and see what exactly is being said there.
Okay.
But essentially that's why I said I wanted to hear your thoughts about this so that you look at it. There's a controversy about this, and then we just want to look at it and then we determine that okay, what really is it? And that is just it. So these are the things that at times I want us to just think about because at your level, it should not just be about looking hook, line, and sinker. It should be about asking questions. It's about reading widely. So, and this is the point I am trying to make. Now let's look at rules. Rule govern meaningfulness in language use. Because if there's no rule, how do the two of us understand that when I say he went, then you can understand that that means that the person did the action of moving away sometime in a time that has passed. How do you know if there's no rule in the language? So rules govern meaningfulness in language use. In the way we use language, because there are rules that we can know, okay, that when you say this is what you actually mean, then we can meet at the middle point and then determine. And then when somebody brings that rule, you see that at time when we laugh at people when they say that he went to my house. Why you say he went to my house? Now you see it's kind of like what most children are learning the English language or any language is that they now overstretch a particular element of the rule. Now he actually applying past tense, but doubling it because now you don't know that when it's already carrying, because it doesn't have the regular past tense morpheme, so that it's already carrying the past tense. So you now have to put the past tense to let it become past tense the way the child seems to, or the person that is learning that English language seems to think that the past tense should be represented. So these are some of the things that so and then the only reason you laugh is that because you know the person stretching it. He's stretching a particular and it is funny because that's not the way the language, that's not what the rule says. And that's why we laugh at it. Each language tends to have its operational rules, so and that has to be respected. Now, while I think Yoruba is on, let me see now. You have the adjective coming after the noun, but in English the adjective comes before the noun. Is that not so? Now you cannot say that you first and say that the man is the man fair. That is Yoruba you're speaking. But you know, or maybe I don't know the way it is spoken in your own language. But if you say that in Yoruba, you say Omogupa, then that's a fair child. Now, but if you say Omo, then you begin to wonder what you are saying. So the person, maybe you're just being poetic or you're just being funny. But that is where it will be spoken in English. And then if you don't speak like that in English, it will not look right. So every language, the point I make is every language has a way it is spoken. So nonetheless, as we will find out, all rules usually have exceptions, and that is just the truth. And that is also the same with language. So we have done two things here, talking about. So are you serious? We are still on activity one. We are almost finished our time. Okay, what's your view on the English phonemic and phonetic presentations? I think that is what we discussed. That's what we discussed. So let's look at the second one. Basic division of English segmentals to some categories for their study include these three common ones. So what are these three common ones that you expect you should be familiar with? Of these super segmentals, categorization of the English language. The English super segmentals, rather. All languages have. Guys, let's stop. We don't have much time again. I say how about two activities and then we are still just on the first one. You don't know this most common super segmentals that you are familiar with.
Stress is one of them. Stress.
Intonation.
Then there's pitch. Pitch.
Rhythm.
Rhythm, yeah, because pitch is not really that common. Okay. I was going to give an example about myself on pitch, but it's not I forgot. But let's go on. We don't have to time again. So let's quickly look at generative phonology. Essentially, you just need to understand that. So please, the other thing that we'll talk about, please make sure you go and read up and understand the other ones. What I want, because you have mentioned these are common ones that I know over and over again in your secondary school where in undergraduate you have studied them, but I'm not sure you are really studying much on the other ones. So let's read up on them, and if you want to do your research in phonetics and phonology, at least you can get a grasp of them and then tell us something new about those things. So generative phonology. So let's go to generative phonology now. Of course, you know that it has its root in transformational generative grammar. And if you have been in the syntax class, you will know that we have talked about Noam Chomsky's transformational generative grammar. That's what we're studying there. Now, Namchomsky worked along with Maurice Haley to produce the sound patterns of English in 1966. So this is a theory that was, and it has been a classic since that we have been using and guiding many of us. So other people have worked, people have added, people have challenged and all of that, but this is mainly classic. So you may need to see if you can get in the e-library and come out, to go and read it up. It's a very, very big book. If you have seen the physical one, it's very, very big. But I don't know whether the e-copy will be looking that big if the university has it. But it should be interesting to look through. You will find some great things there as research students. Nonetheless, claim that it is built on an earlier one by Maurice Haley. So Maurice Haley did the sound patterns of Russia. So you have here some patterns of English. And then, of course, many of us cannot read Russia, so we may not even be able to learn from that. But it's just that for us to know that this is where. Who is this person? Okay. It's in the general MA class. So essentially the things you'll be seeing in this course are built around that book. So that's just what I really want to know. So you may just have an aspect of it. Like I said, it's a very, very big book. So your course material cannot be near it. So just know that just a scratch of it that you are saying, but this is where the theory of generative phonology was propounded. And it is also because it was actually coming out of what Chomsky did in generative grammar. If you look at, I can't remember now, I'm trying to remember his name, the one that did generative semantics. So people have tried to use generative base to do some scholarship on different aspects of language study. Okay, so let's look at basic concepts that we are going to be looking at are the distinctive features. I've mentioned it. Now, what the distinctive feature is that it actually gets to the beyond the allophonic variation. It gives the description of the sound. So his most that you cannot mix it up. So you have things like anterior, you have consonantal. So you may have an anterior, but that's not consonantal. So when you have A now, E is a vowel. It is not consonantal. So but when you now say me is plus consonantal. But it's also an anterior because of the position where it is produced in the vocal tract. Now, these features help you to know that okay, this particular sound, these are the features that distinguish it to the barest minimum that you cannot mistake it for another sound. So that's what you have the major features and you have the minor features. And now that I did a whole book of that. So you can go get that and study it. So you have that those things that particular sound, all the features when you put them together, just like when you talk about the semantic features like plus boy, no, plus male, minus young. It will tell you what you are talking of a man.
Man.
Yes, man. So
Man.
but if you yes, so but if you say minus human plus old, and plus what now? Plus bovine. Then you are talking of what?
A lady.
You are talking of what?
A lady.
Plus bovine. If you say the thing is bovine, no, that's not a lady. Oh. That's not a lady. You are talking of a pig. Oh. Eh?
Okay, sorry, ma'am.
So that's not a lady. A lady is plus human now, but I say minus human.
Minus human. Okay, sorry, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is it. So just like I'm just telling that with that you can actually know the thing you're talking about. The same feature will tell you the sound, so you can know the sound and its behavior based on the distinctive feature that determine it strictly. So I think we have a whole how many pages on that. You can read up, then you can also read more content about it in your library. Then you also have the redundancy. When an element that is proven as if it has featured and then it has become what do you call it now? Just like when you have operation move now, the element is just not doing what it should do again. It's just there and it's not performing anything again. So many times what you do is that you at times when you have an element that is redundant, you may look at it that, okay, what really is the usefulness of this particular thing? Oh, should we remove it, or is it performing any function? So if you talk about aspiration now, what exactly does it do? Is there anything that is consequential about it? So you want to look at that. Then is there any important role that it made in your being able to perceive that sound? Does it make any particular special meaning to be able to perceive that sound? So you look at it, is that feature, is it redundant, or is it useful or meaningful to the to what you want to see? Then what about the boundaries? So all the you have phonological boundaries. You have the boundary you have that for word, you have the one for phonological boundary, you have the one for morpheme. So this can determine that when you are setting up your roof, where and where particular thing is supposed to stop, and where it's supposed to where it is supposed to stop, and where it's supposed to be. Maybe you are setting up the boundary now, or a rule, then you can now, okay, at this particular word boundary, this thing terminates, or at the morphemic boundary. Then you have signs. You have signs for that. You can also see that in your book. I think the hashtag is the sign for word boundary. Whereas you have a slash as a word for, I think now I'm trying to see whether that one is for a sentence, a syllabic boundary now. No, syllabic boundary is solved. Syllabic boundary is solved. The syllabic boundary is solved, whereas you have the a boundary that is created. I think the slash actually usually also indicate the positioning, so that you know where there's something. Like there's a place that you have the full list of this of all the elements that you are presented, but just know that when you are doing your rule assignment, you can know that, okay, at this particular point, when you are setting up the rule, you say, okay, this particular thing occurs at the word boundary, or at where the word ends, or where the sentence ends, so that you can now be able to easily set up your rule. Just the way you have also in the sentences. You can see that there are also signs there that also determine, so that it helps you to know how to set your rules. And so that if somebody just sees the rules, you can easily understand what the person is trying to say. Then you also have the phonemic level of representation. I think, okay, that's the one, which is actually an abstraction of what it is, the meaning, underlying representation of the word. Then you have the phonetic one. Of course, if you look at your what you call your generative grammar, phonetic is actually at the point of the not just at the underlying abstractive element now, but at the point actually of the production itself. So you have this level, the basic level. So these are the things that you need to look at and see that, okay, how does this one work and this one? Of course, you have the rules intervening between these two levels of representations. So the rule we be the middle point that we want to be say, okay, the phonological rules will now say, okay, the abstract, and then it's now realized as phonetic, which is the actual representation. There's of course the classical one. Okay, yes, I've seen the page now on one of your pages there where you have all the notations to determine your phonological rules. But what I'm saying is that the boundaries are set. What is not useful, and you determine whether it is actually redundant or it is actually useful. Then I talk about the city features that determines, okay, these features, when you apply this feature, you can know the sound. that you're talking about without even needing to carry the book or drawing it. So you can know the actual sound like, and I will practice it with semantics, morphophonemic features here, and we're able to, no, not morphophonemic features, that's semantic features that we're able to see that how it works. So that's for that. So that basic concept of generic phonology. This is a whole what's it called now? This is a whole unit or whatever extended unit, but basically this is the basic information there that we just need to look at. So let's see now if we, how come it should be activity 2? Yes, that's it. Activity 2. So why do we think we need rules? We have less than 10 minutes now, so we need to just rush this now. Why do you think we need rules for analysis? Why do we think that rules are necessary for phonological analysis? Who wants to give that a shot? Why do you think we need rules for phonological analysis? Some of us are just here to just come and listen to us talk. Why do you think we need rules for phonological analysis? You say?
Hello, ma.
Hello.
Hello, ma. We need the rules. Yes, ma. We need the rules so that we'll not go out of boundary.
Okay, no, so that we'll not go out of boundary. So if I understand the boundary we are talking about.
Okay, I think we need the rules so that there will be uniformity in analysis.
Okay, I think we said something about even being able to understand each other. Is that also?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, these rules help us to guide that when you are saying something, I will also know we are talking on the same page. Is it also?
Yes, ma'am.
I think phonological rules will help us to have that understanding that, okay, when I say it as plus sonorant minus consonantal, you easily know that I'm talking about a vowel. Is that not so? Or most likely a vowel. Is it not so? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So, but if we don't have this guiding rule that say, okay, at the word boundary, this particular sound occurs, or at the initial position, when this particular sound occurs, and then it can only be the version or the allophonic version of this particular sound. If we don't know that, it's just like when you come to let me give an example with the longer I'm very familiar with Yoruba. You have the spelling A-G-B-O-N. What differentiates that word? What will make it have up to about 5 minutes in Yoruba? One is Agbon, Redo, Agbon, Dore, Agbon. You know, what it makes is just the tone that have changed. Then also, and that has given me, now it tells me that when I put high tone, or I don't know our accent, right? If I put it that is up, then this is what that word means. If I put it that is low, that is what it means. If I do not put that, this is what it means. Agbon, Dore, Agbon, Rere, Agbon. Okay, yeah, that's change. Agbon, that would be Rere. So that's just that. What has changed there is just the tone, but the same spelling is the same word. But when I change the tone, then it changes meaning. So in the phonological analysis, we now tell you that the rules will tell you that, okay, when this word occurs in this place, or this sound occurs in this place, if you have a sound, a voiceless consonant sound that is a plosive in the initial position, it tells you that it becomes an allophonic variation of the pre sound. Then it's still P, but then because of position it is occupying, Now, the rule also tells you that, okay, when you have a homogenic nasal following following maybe a homogenic, the same alveolar sound, then that alveolar sound takes on the nasal sound. It becomes nasalized. So you set up rule for that, because that is the only way now you can be able to determine why is this sound behaving this way. So I'm not supposed to be answering my question by myself. So look at the next one, say give 3 basic concepts in generative phonology, then explain any 3 concepts of generative phonology. So we have talked about them. So let me go, just rush through the next one, phonological rules. So these are rules which provide the phonetic information necessary for the pronunciation of utterances. And now, as we go along, we'll practice them. But the important thing that you need to know is that, like every other rule, and that's why you have irregular past tense, you have irregular pluralization, because for every rule, there's always an exception. So let's just take note of that. So don't say, but the rules say, like I get the example of that, the man went yesterday. A child that is learning, or someone that is learning, or we have heard funny stories like that, this man went to the supermarket in London to go and buy spoon. When he got there, say he want to buy 2 spoons. The man just look what he was saying, okay, he just from the idea of, no, it may not even appreciate that the man didn't say spoons. He just decided to say, okay, he had 2. So he gave him the 2. Then the man now got to, from after he now got to now say, no, he was supposed to say 2 spoons. So he now went back and told the man there, and the man was wondering, what is the problem? So don't say that because the rules that are holding you by the neck, then no, there's always an exception. So just look at that by the merit of the sound or the rule you're applying and see if that rule actually works or not. So that is just it. So I just say, let me draw our attention to that. Then let's quickly look at the next activity quickly and see if we can practice this. Give the phonological that guides the occurrence of these sounds in the examples below. Who can try? There are just 3 examples. I think if you pronounce them, that's when you easily get what the issue is. What do you think happens to the first one? What do you think is likely to be the rule guiding it? What is likely to have happened to it? Nobody? What about the second one? What about the third? Very simple rules. Very simple rules.
Ma, can I talk on the third one, ma?
Okay, I'll talk on the third one.
I think when the ha sound comes after the word in a word, the ha is silent when that word is mentioned. For instance, what we have is whisper. That means the ha sound is silent there.
Is it ha or? That's the glottal sound. Yes, the glottal sound. That's the glottal fricative. Yes, it doesn't get pronounced in the environment of when it immediately comes after the bilabial approximant. So you see that it becomes silent. Okay, very good. Does anybody now understand and want to try any other one?
Okay, let me try the first one.
Okay.
The first one, play. The underlined phoneme is pronounced with a strong force is exerted on the first phoneme because of its position, because of the initial position it occupies in the word.
So what do you call that? What do you call that?
it is aspirated.
So use technical words. You students, please use technical words. I just want to go and do your defense now. You'll be saying that. You'll just tell you close your book and go.
Yeah,
Use the technical words.
It is aspirated.
Okay, good. So who wants to try the remaining one? It's already 9. Does anybody want to try the last one? What do you think must have happened to that sound? You don't know what happened to it, but you want to transcribe it. Maybe if you transcribe it, you will know. I'll give you just 30 seconds. You think what? I think it's redundant. What is redundant there?
When a particular sound is not actually function, like DG follows each other now, we have one D being taking the whole work.
Okay, let's try.
Excuse me, ma. I think is a syllabic consonant in the sense that it replaces the S sound. The air is elided because of the consonant replaces the vowel in that syllable. So I can say it's a syllabic sound, the syllabic consonant sound.
Oh, can somebody pronounce the sound? Let us hear you.
The.
Sudden.
Sudden.
Is that what?
Sudden.
Sudden. Okay, so in this pronunciation you are made, can you tell me what the issue is?
Okay, madam, let me say something here, Prof. I think the 2 consonant sound that appeared in the word, that the second D is reduced by the schwa sound.
Okay. Does somebody else have another opinion? Who is that the voice is cracking? These are very basic. Shay, you could know. I was even telling myself this when I was preparing for this. I said, you will not feel that I'm insulting people now? Huh? I was asking myself, you will not feel that I'm insulting you now?
It's good now.
God of heaven. I mentioned this. The person, you see, if we don't transcribe, and we always say this, if you don't transcribe the sound, you will always get it wrong. You are looking at 2 Ds. You have only 1 D here. But in orthography, English writes 2 D. But what you actually have in the transcription is what? Just a single D.
Yes.
Is that okay? That's the first thing. Now you say sudden. And that was I say you guys should pronounce it. And you pronounce it. And you pronounce it correctly. But you see, you don't get it. Because you are having what happened here. When you have a homo-organic nasal following a homo-organic plosive, then it becomes nasalized. It is an oral sound. But if I say daily and I say sudden, I did the same. I said daily and sudden. No. Because this D has become nasalized. And then when you want to talk about the syllabic, what it becomes syllabic is actually the noun. That's what has become syllabic, because you don't see any vowel nucleus here. So it is now standing as a full syllable by itself. So it has become syllabic. So, but what I was actually explaining that the easiest thing for you to see that is when you say sudden, you know that you are releasing the air not through your mouth but through the nose, so it can become nasalized. So that is the thing. So and you have to set up a rule for that. You don't when you say kettle, what make kettle too? Because because lateral is an alveolar sound, T is an alveolar sound, and then it becomes because that shows you that when you have a lateral sound, a homogenic lateral sound following a lateral what's it called now? Plosive, then it also become, I mean, an alveolar plosive, then also become lateralized. So these are simple things that you can set up rules for. And now I'm just giving you this basic one to just have an idea of how the other rules are. I'm sure the young lady was able to say this one because you have seen it in your. That's why you're able to tell me the rule for this one. But this one, now that probably you didn't see it in your book. These are things that you should have done at the lower level. You did not know actually what happened here. So how do you set up the rules? That's how. Any questions, please? There's a notation. If there are no questions, so that I can. Any questions? No questions, right? Okay, so guys, thank you for your time. Please read up. Like I told you, I will continue to do only one thing, that's to facilitate. So I'll bring together what I think can be brought together. Then we'll discuss. I'll still try to squeeze your time and give you your all this your what is it called now? All these your discussions and then because I really wanted us to be doing projects. But somehow I've not been settled to be able to give you solid project work to do. So okay, guys, if there's no further question, I guess we are done for the day. So see you guys in the next class. But please check. I will try and check what the issue is with the assignments I give, so that you guys can do them. Okay, I'll go and check. So if possible, I'll send the time or I'll just give you new ones.
Okay, ma.
All right.
Okay. So have a good night, rest everybody.
And you too, ma.